This is a recording demonstrating how to perform an advanced search on PubMed. Once you're able to decide on your research question and you have keywords, the most basic and simplest of ways to search for your keywords would be to type them directly into PubMed. So let's say, for instance, you have hypertension in the Gambia. I would type in the keyword hypertension and Gambia. Once we perform a search, we would come to this page wherein you have about 67 results showing titles and abstracts of the different results that it has from looking at these two keywords. But you realize that most of these titles may contain the word hypertension and Gambia, but they may not necessarily be documents that are relevant to our research topic because these terms are searched for all throughout the document, and any document that contains these two terms would show up on your research as a research result. However, we would like to have results that are more pertinent and more specific. Here we have about 76 results. However, if you're doing certain research topics, you may come up with thousands of research results, and that would not be something that would be relevant to your research question, and you would not have the time or the possibility to be able to go through those individually. So that's when the advanced search feature of PubMed comes in handy. So here we're clicking on the advanced feature. On this page, you would see that there's a search query, and the first box that you see here is actually a query that involves all fields. And this is the default, and that's the result we had when we did a simple search. They search for the terms, the keywords within all the fields. However, if you want to have more specific results, the best way to go about that is to actually look within the title or within the abstract. So we're going to change this all field and we're going to select title and abstract. We're going to go back with our keywords. So we had hypertension. There's a concept called mesh terms. So that's short form for medical search headings. And this is a way that PubMed tends to categorize different scientific terms together. So the mesh term for hypertension here, as we see in this drop-down menu, is hypertension. But this time around, it's going to look for this keyword within the title and the abstract. So we're going to add that into our query box. The second keyword we have is Gambia. We're going to look for the mesh term for that, and it's Gambia. We're going to use the AND function. So here in our query box, we have hypertension and Gambia. Both of them are looked up in the title and in the abstract. We click search, and then from 76 results, we're down to 36. And when you look at each of these search results, you realize that the key words hypertension and Gambia are within either the title or the abstract. So your chances of finding references or documents that are relevant to your research questions are much higher because you are certain that the documents that you have here would be able to fit your research criteria. Okay. Another way of narrowing down your research results is by going back into the advanced feature. And again, we would search within the title and abstract. And sometimes certain terms would have synonyms. So, for instance, hypertension can also be known in certain writings as high blood pressure. So we would want to include that as much as we're trying to narrow down our search, but we also want to make sure that we're able to capture all the relevant documents or research papers that are talking about hypertension in the Gambia. So again, we would have our term or the keyword hypertension, the mesh term hypertension as we saw earlier on. So we'll add that. The second or the synonym for that would be high blood pressure. High blood pressure. But since this is a synonym, we would use the Boolean operator, instead of and, we would use or, because we want the search to look for either the term hypertension or its equivalent high blood pressure. So it's an either or situation. So here we would put or, and we want to search for this within the Gambia. So another keyword would be Gambia. The Boolean, sorry, the mesh term would be Gambia, and the Boolean operator we would use would be and, because we want to make sure that Gambia features with either hypertension or high blood pressure. So that would be and here. So given the fact that we put in a synonym, we would have to remove the parenthesis between the or. And there we have it. We would carry out our search, and our results are 36. So what this means basically is that all the results that came from our search contained the term hypertension. None of them contained the term high blood pressure, which gives us the same results, 36, as we had early on. But in certain instances, it would be able to capture documents or papers that use one keyword in the place of the other. In this instance, both a single keyword was actually used. So that's why we came up with the same results. So 36 results from 76. One of the ways of narrowing this down even further is if you look here on your left, you'd realize that all our research results fall in within the space of 1983 to 2004. So if you want to reduce it further down to perhaps the last 5 years, then you would have between 2019 and 2024 as our search criteria, and that would bring our results from 36 to 17. That is including the most recent articles within the last 5 years. So again, these would be the results that would have to go through instead of the 76 initially. And in some cases, you'd have thousands if you carry out a simple search. So once we have that, we can just go in, click any of the titles, and then we'll be able to read through the abstract and decide whether this is an article that we would want to integrate into our reference, or we would rather come down, and then you can see similar articles to the one that the results we've had, which may or may not be talking about the same topic. So you'd have to read through the titles and then see if they're relevant as well. And then you would have the references, and sometimes you have articles that have been cited. So those are more recent articles that use this particular article that we found as a reference. So this is basically one of the ways of actually being able to carry out an advanced search when it comes to PubMed. Thank you.